Welcome back. ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule is determined to fight for his freedom and political survival. He made his first appearance in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court on Friday on corruption charges. The case stems from a 255 million rand asbestos contract. Magashule has been released on bail of 200,000 rand. Political analyst Gogo Aubrey Matshiqi says this court, or the Court of Public Opinion in fact, could ultimately settle this before the legal process. Matshiqi joins us by Skype tonight to take this further. Gogo Aubrey Matshiqi, good to have your time tonight on eNCA. So let's get to the point you were making about how the Court of Public Opinion could ultimately be what makes or breaks Ace Magashule at this point.
Well, the point I'm making is that what we have seen in the past is that political battles tend to outrun the legal process. For instance, in the battle between the so-called Zuma camp and Thembekile camp, in the period leading to Polokwane and afterwards, we saw Mbeki being removed as head of state. In other words, he lost the political battle inside the ANC. In fact, a court, Judge Chris Nicholson, pronounced that Zuma was a victim of political intrigue or a political conspiracy. But by the time the Supreme Court of Appeal found otherwise, the political battle was over for Mbeki. He had been removed as head of state. Similarly here, there is a possibility that the battle will be lost and won in the Court of Public Opinion before the legal processes are concluded. Now, of course, the political battle can be lost or won to the advantage or disadvantage of Ace Magashule and those who are perceived to be his political enemies.
And as things stack up then, because Ace Magashule was quite defiant speaking to his supporters outside court saying, well, no one is going to remove me but the branches. What does the leadership that's been preaching the clean-up message saying that those who are accused are on trial and in fact convicted of corruption will be forced to leave their positions or at least step aside temporarily while the matters proceed?
Well, the problem is that both the ANC and its leadership have no moral authority. They lack a moral authority. Therefore, the party and its leadership are unable to impose their moral authority on any member of the ANC, including Ace Magashule. And that is why Ace Magashule can be defiant, if defiant is what he was yesterday. But he knows, and his supporters know, that the leadership of the ANC, the NEC of the ANC, including the president of the ANC, have no moral authority that they can impose on any member of the ANC.
And just, you speak of a moral bankruptcy. One of the things that Ace Magashule said yesterday while addressing his supporters was that he's been a disciplined cadre in a sense, and he's looked the other way because he says there are people he can go to in the party and say, you've done A, B, C, and D, but he says he hasn't spoken out about that because he's so disciplined. But that speaks to the point that you're making about how the leadership itself has no moral ground to stand on, doesn't it?
Well, we've been here before. Firstly, those who are accused, rightly or wrongly, of corruption will claim that they are a victim of a political conspiracy. Now, what Mr. Magashule said yesterday, in addition to that, is that the ANC is infiltrated by apartheid spies. But what he did not do is to name them. But if you look at what his supporters did when they burnt T-shirts bearing the image of the president of the ANC, despite the fact that Mr. Magashule does not name anyone, it seems that in their minds, Cyril Ramaphosa is the chief conspirator against Ace Magashule and therefore the main target of their campaign.
Which then brings me to this point. Is this as much a battle for Ramaphosa in the Court of Public Opinion as it is for Magashule?
Well, to answer that, we have to look at the differences between the period around Polokwane, the battle for Polokwane and afterwards, and the current period. Now, you must also bear in mind that in South African party politics, the image of the party leader can be beneficial or damaging to the image of the party. With the election of Cyril Ramaphosa to be the president of a thoroughly discredited ruling party. We see him having an approval rating that is higher than that of the party, particularly in the media and in the public domain. And therefore, what is available to him, if this battle takes the direction I think it will take, is for his supporters to mobilize in the public domain and in the media against the supporters of Ace Magashule and Ace Magashule himself. But if Ramaphosa loses the party and entrenches his control of the state, that would be a Pyrrhic and hollow victory. Because once you lose the party, very soon thereafter you might lose the state too, as we saw in the battle between Zuma and Thembekile.
To that effect, you've also warned that the ANC family feud, as you termed it, is likely going to be a problem for the entire South Africa. So what do those of us who are outside the ANC do, or are we simply stuck on a runaway train and hoping for the best outcome?
Well, I hope what I said in that tweet will not happen, but we cannot rule out the possibility that once again the ANC will sneeze and the entire country and our democratic institutions will catch the flu. So there is the possibility that what is essentially an internal matter, an internal family feud within the ANC, may become a problem for the country as a whole. In fact, whether Ace Magashule is guilty or not, what he would want, what his supporters would want, is a situation where an internal ANC crisis becomes a national crisis, and therefore forces upon his opponents a recalibration of their strategies and tactics to undermine him.
All right, we're running out of time on our Skype line, but thank you so much for speaking to us tonight. Gogo Aubrey Matshiqi, thank you.